There's something about having land and sea. Never having to choose between digging in or looking out. Here, you can go where the spirit or the wind moves you. To the tops of the trees, along secluded beaches, or into more wild and scenic rivers than anywhere else in the western United States. We're the closest place to the sunset while still keeping your feet dry, and a destination where anyone can begin. We share more than we keep, so you can see more than you imagined. This is a place you have to touch, hold, and feel to believe. The entire shoreline of the West Coast's best coast is open to you, and playgrounds made of forests are waiting for you. Escape to Curry County and don't leave anything out.
If yours is the next big idea, and you need the right place to fine-tune it, build it, launch it, if you're only your best when you can play more than you work, if inspiration comes from the outside, you belong in Curry County. The westernmost point of the land you love, and the edge between familiar and uncharted. Break the pattern. Be where the airports are as close as the beaches, and industry and recreation never cease to amaze. Dock, dive, and dine in a single day, and never lose your connection. This is the threshold of the West. Live where you can do you, and do it well, at the farthest point from ordinary. Curry County, living on the edge.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Wildfire, as everyone knows, has emerged as one of the big major issues affecting Oregon and, for that matter, all western states. A real actionable response that's including how do we fight fire, actively managing our forests so that we don't have the fuels out there, and how are we going to protect communities from smoke exposures. The council is really set up to have a comprehensive strategy that's based on action and based on protecting our communities.
The primary focus we as a board have come through with is that in researching the policies for fire management, yes, prescribed fire has its place on the landscape, but not during fire season. We, as a county, passed a proclamation that says once the state fire marshal declares fire season, it'll be nothing but full suppression, and recently took a resolution to the National Association of Counties, essentially says that they support coordination between agencies and local governments for the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens regarding fire. Prescribed fire, fire season, anything that affects our citizens.
This is Lily Morgan from Josephine County, and we are at the Rogue Leadership Forum today, looking at the best possible partnerships that we can come up with to fight the fire issues and the smoke issues that we're facing in Southwest Oregon. So looking forward to coming up with solutions and the partnerships to get the job done so we don't face what we have the last few years with catastrophic fires and smoke that invades our communities for months to come. So this is a good opportunity, and we hope to be successful in the outcome.
Seeing so many people come together has really been exciting for me because there's a lot of expertise, there's a lot of resources, and as we attempt to do a shared stewardship approach to keeping people safe, it's really important that we get together. So my name is Merv George Jr., and I'm the Forest Supervisor for the Rogue River Siskiyou National Forest. The first thing is making sure to get fires out if they're threatening life and property. The second thing that I'm going to focus in on is when it's safe to do so, to put some fire on the landscape when it's cooler and not during fire season to reduce these same fuels that are giving us so much fits during the fire season.
Bob Horton, I'm the fire chief of Jackson County Fire District 3 in Southern Oregon. The challenges that are facing us in terms of the mega fires and the wildfires that we've been experiencing out in this valley, particularly in the last couple of years, but across the state and across the region, incredibly concerning to us in the fire community, those in our communities in general, our constituents and our patrons are extremely concerned, as they ought to be. And really the takeaway from the work that's being done now is this is an extraordinary collaboration of dozens on dozens of interested stakeholder groups who are coming together with a common purpose. It's really an inspiring showing of humanity to not only be able to provide for a greater quality of life for our people, but to be strong stewards of our land, so that our future for us and generations to come is incredibly bright.
Very pressing issue. It's bearing down on us. Fire season is approaching, and I am really interested in preventing my home and other homes in my community from being impacted by wildfire, specifically from being burnt down. That's my main reason for being involved.
Quite a collaboration of folks. We're here looking for practical solutions to help us unravel some of the issues surrounding wildfires today here in the state of Oregon. And my focus really is on planning for large wildfire events in advance of their occurrence. That way, when they do occur, we can respond more appropriately to those situations.
Well, I just think it's grand if all of the people all over the state have come together today to be concerned about water. It just warms my heart, because I know that they really will leave here today feeling more impressed about the water, because I have told them that we're all born in water. We cannot live without it.
Back in regular session, I misspoke. The end of the morning session, 9 o'clock morning session. Should have been recessed so we could go into executive session, not adjourn. So thank you, Commissioner Bash. So we're going to go from for 192.6602A. Thanks for the update, by the way, on the one position. So we're probably not ready to discuss it. No need, is there?
No, I don't think there's any need to discuss that at this point in exec.
But probably good news. Okay, so the other one is we put would it be under the litigation?
Yeah, we're going under F is to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection.
I should have asked you first. Thank you, Council Pope. So yes, we can close the doors and start the recording.
But
and go into executive session. You have something to add?
I would ask that this would be board only and council.
Okay.
And for executive session.
Okay.
If that's agreeable.
It's agreeable here.
Yep. Don't make me come down there.
There's something about having land and sea. never having to choose between digging in or looking out. Here, you can go where the spirit or the wind moves you. To the tops of the trees, along secluded beaches, or into more wild and scenic rivers than anywhere else in the western United States. We're the closest place to the sunset while still keeping your feet dry, and a destination where anyone can begin. We share more than we keep, so you can see more than you imagined. This is a place you have to touch, hold, and feel to believe. The entire shoreline of the West Coast's best coast is open to you, and playgrounds made of forests are waiting for you. Escape to Curry County and don't leave anything out.
If yours is the next big idea, and you need the right place to fine-tune it, build it, launch it, if you're only your best when you can play more than you work, if inspiration comes from the outside, you belong in Curry County. The westernmost point of the land you love, and the edge between familiar and uncharted. Break the pattern. Be where the airports are as close as the beaches, and industry and recreation never cease to amaze. Dock, dive, and dine in a single day, and never lose your connection. This is the threshold of the West. Live where you can do you, and do it well, at the farthest point from ordinary. Curry County, living on the edge.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Wildfire, as everyone knows, has emerged as one of the big major issues affecting Oregon and, for that matter, all western states. A real actionable response that's including how do we fight fire, actively managing our forests so that we don't have the fuels out there, and how are we going to protect communities from smoke exposures. The council is really set up to have a comprehensive strategy that's based on action and based on protecting our communities.
The primary focus we as a board have come through with is that in researching the policies for fire management, yes, prescribed fire has its place on the landscape, but not during fire season. We, as a county, passed a proclamation that says once the state fire marshal declares fire season, it'll be nothing but full suppression, and recently took a resolution to the National Association of Counties, essentially says that they support coordination between agencies and local governments for the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens regarding fire. Prescribed fire, fire season, anything that affects our citizens.
This is Lily Morgan from Josephine County, and we are at the Rogue Leadership Forum today, looking at the best possible partnerships that we can come up with to fight the fire issues and the smoke issues that we're facing in Southwest Oregon. So looking forward to coming up with solutions and the partnerships to get the job done so we don't face what we have the last few years with catastrophic fires and smoke that invades our communities for months to come. So this is a good opportunity, and we hope to be successful in the outcome.
Seeing so many people come together has really been exciting for me because there's a lot of expertise, there's a lot of resources, and as we attempt to do a shared stewardship approach to keeping people safe, it's really important that we get together. So my name is Merv George Jr., and I'm the Forest Supervisor for the Rogue River Siskiyou National Forest. The first things is making sure to get fires out if they're threatening life and property. The second thing that I'm going to focus in on is when it's safe to do so, to put some fire on the landscape when it's cooler and not during fire season, to reduce these same fuels that are giving us so much fits during the fire season.
Bob Horton, I'm the fire chief of Jackson County Fire District 3 in Southern Oregon. The challenges that are facing us in terms of the mega fires and the wildfires that we've been experiencing out in this valley, particularly in the last couple of years, but across the state and across the region, incredibly concerning to us in the fire community, those in our communities in general, our constituents and our patrons are extremely concerned, as they ought to be. And really the takeaway from the work that's being done now is this is an extraordinary collaboration of dozens on dozens of interested stakeholder groups who are coming together with a common purpose. It's really an inspiring showing of humanity to not only be able to provide for a greater quality of life for our people, but to be strong stewards of our land, so that our future for us and generations to come is incredibly bright.
Very pressing issue. It's bearing down on us. Fire season is approaching, and I am really interested in preventing my home and other homes in my community from being impacted by wildfire, specifically from being burnt down. That's my main reason for being involved.
Quite a collaboration of folks. We're here looking for practical solutions to help us unravel some of the issues surrounding wildfires today here in the state of Oregon. And my focus really is on planning for large wildfire events in advance of their occurrence. That way, when they do occur, we can respond more appropriately to those situations.
Well, I just think it's grand if all of the people all over the state have come together today to be concerned about water. It just warms my heart, because I know that they really will leave here today feeling more impressed about the water, because I have told them that we're all born in water. We cannot live without it. It's our job to take care of it, stop the garbage in the rivers and streams and oceans, because there's life in that water, and it's our job to keep it clean for them. Because we cannot live on this planet without the animal kingdom. I was in Ohio at the Ohio River with Dr. Emoto, the Japanese scientist who had proven water could heal. He and I stood on the riverbank and blessed the Ohio River that they had us come to do. And I prayed that God has still kept the river good for them over there. We were taught when we were little that prayer works. You too will remember your prayers, because they work. It has nothing to do with religion or church.
Why do counties matter? Simple. Counties provide the services we all depend on. If you're concerned about crime, get a regular flu shot. Drive to work. Take public transportation. Or experience a natural disaster in your community. Chances are you benefit from county services. That's why counties matter. With America's system of federalism, counties are a key level of government, serving the people directly. So, do you vote? Had a recent hospital stay? Know someone in a nursing home? More reasons why counties matter. There are 3,069 counties across the country, with populations big and small. Most of us live and work in one. Even the nation's capital is considered a county. These county governments ensure that the food you eat in restaurants is safe. They care for the mentally ill, run court systems, build local economies, and operate 911 emergency systems. They manage parks and recreation facilities. And the list goes on. Thing is, Counties serve the American people in so many ways, keeping our communities healthy, vibrant, safe, and fiscally sound. That's why counties matter.
Hi there, I'm Patrick Priest, Executive Director at CIS. And I really enjoy coming every year to this conference because CIS, we are all about counties. We are owned by counties. We were formed by the AOC. This is a great occasion for us to meet everybody in one place and learn what's important to the counties all across Oregon.
It's the networking. I mean, we learn a lot about the different issues that counties deal with, but it's networking with other commissioners, getting ideas on how they handle situations that is the most helpful for me.
I love my job. It actually matters to me on a daily basis. I used to do a lot of charity, and, you know, in commissioning in Deschutes County, you can make a serious difference. Lots of things have happened since I've been in office, and I feel like it's important to represent the people. I grew up in Eastern Oregon, and I love the residents of Eastern Oregon. The architect of our first house actually had Doris Day as a dear friend and a client, and he would bring Doris Day up the mountains in Malibu to our house as it was being built.
This is my fourth conference at AOC. My favorite part is the fellowship with other commissioners and coming up with solutions with common situations and with commissioners from around the state to best serve our people. My favorite part about being a commissioner in Josephine County is the people that we work with. We live in the most beautiful place, but we have the most beautiful people. They are talented, artistic, caring. We have such a high level of philanthropy and just caring for our fellow citizens, and it's the best place in all of Oregon.
Hi, I'm Commissioner Martha Schrader from Clackamas County, Oregon. I'm the current president of the Association of Oregon Counties. Oh my goodness, I've been president for 1 year, but I've been a member of the Association of Oregon Counties since 2003. So one of the reasons I really wanted to be president, and I've enjoyed it so much, is because I get to know everybody across the state, all the commissioners, and I've been from one end of the state to the other, visiting with them, talking with them, and really getting an idea of how we differ, but more importantly, what our similarities are and what we can do with one another to move forward with good county government.
I've been coming to AOC now for 4 years. My favorite part of serving as commissioner is trying to bring positive effects for our community and our county.
This is my second year at AOC, and the camaraderie that I've found in my Eastern Oregon partners and just the camaraderie of AOC has really blessed my life.
My name is Court Boyce, Curry County Commissioner. This is a collection of people, county commissioners, public officials, well attended from all over the state. You know, I have the privilege of working with a very diverse group of people, different ages, different backgrounds, different interests, but they're all teaming up to solve the problems of our county. And it's just really a pleasure to be able to be connected with and working with those people. And better days, good days ahead for our county and our citizens.
Hi, I'm Joe Dobulskis. This is my third AOC convention, and my favorite part is the networking with the people. And the breakout sessions are kind of good because it gives me something to focus on, a goal where I want the county to be in 5 years when my term is up.
Hi, I'm Tillamook County Commissioner Dave Yamamoto. Our county college class was probably was the best county college class ever at AOC. It was the largest at over 33 members. When you look at the legislature and the power that the major metropolitan areas have, the rural counties are oftentimes left out of those conversations. AOC really does a terrific job of representing rural counties and rural interests, and we wouldn't have the impact that we do in Oregon without AOC.
My name is Joe Burney, Lane County Commissioner from Springfield. My favorite part is eating good food. My second favorite part is meeting with other commissioners, seeing what they're thinking, comparing solutions to problems, learning how nonpartisan solutions really are, and getting ideas. Yes.
Hi, my name is Derek DeGroot, Klamath County Commissioner, and so I'm running for second vice president of the Association of Oregon Counties. I believe that our association is perfectly poised to solve problems and bring solutions to Oregon politics and communicate with the legislature about the diversity of Oregon.
I'm Jay Bozovich, and I'm a Lane County Commissioner. And so I've been a commissioner for about 8 years and 11 months. And my favorite part about being a commissioner is this job is different every day.
Hi, my name is Alex Tardif, and I'm a commissioner for Columbia County and currently serving as AOC treasurer in my second year. And the thing I enjoy most about AOC and being the treasurer is the ability to bring 36 counties together to build a state vision, to move our state forward into the future while building a livable, workable community that we all want to enjoy.
One of the things I really appreciate about our entire region is that we embrace who we are, and I think that's what unifies us. Once the timber and fishing industries collapsed, it took us a long time to get back on our feet. People didn't quite grasp the idea that once these jobs left, they weren't going to get other family wage jobs, and it crippled us.
Things were getting really dire. So we just saw that this was an opportunity to maybe look at that public land a little differently and how it could bring more dollars into our region.
The Wild Rivers Coast is so unique because there are more wild and scenic rivers here than anywhere else in the lower 48 states. The scenic beauty is just amazing. There's so many different places to go, from the national forest down to the protected ocean, and it's just a really special place.
I guess I didn't really know how special it was, though, until I moved away to Portland and came back and saw all the potential here.
We're uncrowded, we're unspoiled, and we're a little difficult to get to, but my God, once you come here, you fall in love.
We just thought if we could pull people to come into this Wild Rivers Coast and stay longer and explore a little farther into our backcountry, there was a lot of opportunities for them to experience.
I think our whole future is at stake here. This area is ready to go. We just need to give it a little kick in the butt.
I'm going to be honest, when the Rural Tourism Studio came here, I was skeptical because I didn't see far enough ahead that we actually could collaborate regionally, and I'm pleasantly surprised. It's been amazing.
The Rural Tourism Studios was the first time we were able to come together as a region to talk about the future of our economy.
If we can have a strong tourism economy in this area, it's going to benefit the whole community.
We have to rely on ourselves, and I think through this program, it's sort of opened our eyes to what we could do when we work together. Community leaders really focused on 3 areas: outdoor recreation, food and agricultural tourism, and really building community relationships.
In our area, a lot of the food that's grown all gets shipped away. And so now we're realizing that we can capture some of that local food that's grown here. The Eat Fresh and Local Action Team has hosted a series of networking events bringing together the area growers with the area vendors so that we could have more local food available to the visitors to our area. And now we're seeing more local food in our grocery stores, in our restaurants, and we have a new local food co-op.
We created a farm trail from Bandon to Port Orford. We did 9 U-Pick farms, And it just gained traction and people loved it.
Langlois is less than 500 people. It's very small. So we have to bring in tourists. And being on the farm trail, even though it's just beginning, has really helped do that. We really want to make it a destination for anybody. My mom and I began Dragonfly Farm just 3 years ago. When I found out that I could grow a seed and turn that into food, it was like, oh my gosh, why wouldn't you do this? I just quit my day job and I just signed the paper to be an official co-owner of the farm. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life and grow with the community.
Out of the Outdoor Recreation Action Team, we came up with a series of maps that show where the best places to go recreate are. We know where we're going to send people now, and we got a great map that shows all the best places to go see.
For us to get a mapping project done to this extent is pretty impressive. We're patting ourselves on the back. I don't know anybody else is, but we're doing it.
From that, we decided that there was some places that needed help, so we came up with a mountain bike plan, and we also worked on designating a state scenic bikeway. The Outdoor Recreation Action Team was also looking at how we can make scuba diving better in this area. So we came up with the idea for a scuba fill station. So now people that want to come and dive in this area, they can dive for multiple days because they can get their tanks filled up again. When I started the Rural Tourism Studio, my business, South Coast Tours, was really small. And now we've grown to about 5 or 6 guides, and we're doing tours all over from Brookings all the way up to Coos Bay.
Overall, tourism is on the rise here. We've had a bang-up last 2 years, and it's like a breath of fresh air down here.
My hope for the area is that we still keep that sense of place.
Loving a place to death is a big concern that I have, and it's a balance. We're going to promote tourism, but we want to do it in a sustainable way. One of the biggest reasons that this area has been so successful since the tourism studio is the people that are involved. We have a lot of great, motivated, smart people who understand the need to promote tourism in the right way, and it's really all about the people.
When you live in a rural community like we do, from Bandon down
at some new designs. We're hoping that the new design rumble strip will be just as effective at saving people from making an error and much quieter, on the order of 10 times as quiet. And we are actually going to be installing our first full set of these style of rumble strips along 205 this summer.
So we recognize that noise is a concern, but one of the things I like to tell people is whenever you hear the sound of a rumble strip, it could be the sound of the life being saved of one of your loved ones.
Rumble strips are proven to save lives. The Oregon Department of Transportation is taking the lead in implementing the sound of safety.
Sign that doesn't have a rider on it, so we take our first test at this posted speed limit of 35 miles per hour.
And Harley Bills are seeing more than their share of curvy roads these days. Their job is to drive every state highway in Region 1 several times. All this driving back and forth.
All right, sounds good. The old limits were set back in the 1930s and 40s and were changed very little until just recently. So now our limits are taking into account newer vehicles, a little bit more aggressive driving style, and so those limits are going up.
And going up in a big way. This is Eric Leeming, a traffic devices engineer with ODOT. He's driving an ordinary car with some extraordinary tech on board, a GPS device that records data as he maneuvers every curve in the road. Back at his office, Eric can upload the data recorded in the car, and special software determines exactly the right speed for every curve, every time. Most speeds will increase by 5 to 10 miles per hour, but in some special cases, it's much higher.
The state has a deadline of 2019 from the Federal Highway Administration, but with 8,000 miles of roads to investigate and potentially thousands of signs to change, they're not wasting any time. They're getting out there right now.
Now we're going to the W113.
About 800 signs along this section.
That's a lot of signs.
It's a lot of signs. If it's a 35-mile-an-hour corner, you should be taking it at 35 miles.
Turn it on. Thank you, staff. We're leaving executive session and going back into regular session. The date is April 16th, 2021, Curry County, Oregon Board of Commissioners. Next on the agenda, do we have an other?
Well, there's a discussion for the board chair. 4D.
Is this your agenda item, Commissioner Pash?
No, you did the agenda.
No.
Or director.
This was put on by Brenda Starbird. I believe there was an outstanding motion on the floor, so it's been put back on.
There was my motion to ask this board to remove Commissioner Boyce as chair and to replace him with Commissioner Herzog, was where the meeting was left.
It's my understanding that, if I can speak.
Commissioner Herzog, certainly.
That motion died for lack of a second. So,
well, basically what I'd like to talk about that goes along with
And the public may be wondering why I'm asking to do that, and as we probably, it's not nothing short of general knowledge that Commissioner Boyce and I have not always come to the greatest of agreements on things, but there were some things that were asked of me the other day that I took very seriously, saying that I broke through a roadblock on Highway 101, putting people's lives in danger, and verbally assaulting a state employee. I understand she's a flagger for ODOT, or I'm not sure that that's her official title, but that's what I've been told she is. What I want to make sure that it's clear to the public, I am the liaison for the Curry County Road Department. I am the vice chair of SWACT, which is the Southwest Area Commission on Transportation. I am also on the board of LPSC, which is Local Public Safety. I'm sorry, I'm the vice chair of LPSC, Local Public Safety Coordinating Council, and I'm just a member of SWACT, which is the Area Transportation and Road. So I just kind of want to give the public a briefing on what happened. On the 12th of March, this is the meeting minutes from that, I was in a SWACT meeting. Darren Neville made some comments, as did Dan Latham, about the current state of the road. A few days after that, I was in a phone conversation, and we were alerted that the road condition was better. They had removed most of the debris from it, and they were getting ready to blacktop, but it looked like the slide had stopped and things had gotten better, and they thought they would have the road open in the next couple of days. For the record, I've never gone out on a job site in Curry County and interrupted or even viewed anything going on in this county with road since I've been a commissioner, other than when the Hooskanagan slide happened. I went on one occasion by myself. Sheriff Ward and I went, I think, on two separate occasions together to view that slide and the threat to the public of that slide. So again, being on the SWACT board and LPSC, and as the director or the liaison for the county, after our meeting that Friday, I decided to go up and view the progress that had been made, and I understood that someone from Tidewater was up there getting ready to start blacktopping, who I knew. I thought I'd go up and say hi. So as I approached the road closure, there was a gentleman there in a car, and I identified myself. I showed him my credentials. I said I'm a Curry County Commissioner, and I would like to go up and view the slide area, and I understand the nature of it, and I will be careful. And he said that would be fine if I would please stay off the road. There's a barrier up there. Do not block the road. I said okay. I drove up to the barrier to the top of the hill. There were two great big red barrels there. I pulled down off the road inside those barrels, leaving the entire highway open. I in no way blocked or impeded any traffic at all. I went up on the site, walked up on the site, met with the gentleman from Tidewater. He gave me a 2 or 3 minute dissertation of what was happening, when they thought the road would be open, and the safety measures they were taking. I shook his hand and walked away. I was on site no more than 5 minutes. Began to walk back down the hill, and as I got through the barriers and opened the door to my car, a yellow pickup truck drove up to me. There was a woman in there that started berating me, asking me who I thought I was to be there, she doesn't know how I negotiated getting through the barrier. I, at that point, showed her my credentials and told her I was a Curry County Commissioner, and that I had been in touch with, on a SWACT meeting, a previous day or so before that, and I had also alerted them that in that meeting that I would probably be taking a ride up there to look at it. She told me at that point, and I won't quote it, but this is as close to what I can remember as there is. She said, "I don't care who you are, and I don't care if you're a Curry County Commissioner or not. You have no right to be here. You are putting the public safety in danger, and you should not be here." I, at that point, asked her if she knew who Dennis was, if she knew who Dan Latham was, and she didn't identify as she knew any of them. I said, well, she needed to learn who her supervisors were and check with them before doing what she was doing to me, and she continued to berate and lambaste me. And at one point I did lose my temper, and I don't recall the exact words I did use, but I remember the last word I used began with a B. And I may not be proud of it, but I used it. And that's who I as a person am. I'm not perfect, but I had had about enough. So in full disclosure, when I came off that hill, I immediately called Richard Christensen, who is the roadmaster for Curry County, and I addressed him with exactly what had happened. I just even told him that I had had an unkind word with her, and that's how it was left, and he was fully aware. It bothered me over the weekend that I did that, and it also bothered me that a ODOT employee would treat me that way. So in conversations with Glenn Peterson on previous issues, mainly asking for new signage from ODOT coming off that hill to slow people down going across that bridge because we have so many annual issues there. Before an emergency happens, I've asked them to put more signage there. Glenn had written me a letter about something else. It was about the signage, and I had written him back a letter thanking him for his response. And we had also talked about the homeless issue down in Gold Beach. Myself and Richard Christensen had a joint meeting about that, as well as SWACT. And I thanked him for his hard work on that issue. I thanked him for his work on the bridge. And then I wrote to him, and this is on Monday morning following the Friday event, I also want to give you some information about an incident that happened on Friday morning. Earlier, I had gotten an email from Dan Latham about the progress on 101. On my way back from a meeting, I saw the flagger at the road closed sign on 101 and identified myself with my credentials, and I asked to go see the site, promising to park well off the road and be mindful of truck traffic and workers. He allowed me to pass. I parked well off the road behind some barrels and visited the site for about 5 minutes with a foreman from Tidewater that I know. As I went back to get into my car, a woman driving a white ODOT pickup drove up to me, blocking the entry, which she did. She parked her truck literally across the road and asked me who I thought I was. I identified myself, showed her all of my credentials, and tried to explain my reason for the visit. She told me I had no right, and further told me she didn't care if I were a county commissioner or not, that I had no right to be there. I was still calm at this point, but after her further berating me, as she persisted, my calmness wore thin, and we didn't leave on the best of terms. This is only the second time I have visited a job site ODOT was working on in 2.5 years, the last being Huskenhagen, and I always try to remain aware of safety issues. I apologize if I've caused any problems, but this woman was not one who I would want representing me if I were in any form of public response. This letter was sent again 3 days after the event happened. So I just want everyone to know that I didn't try and hide this. I didn't try and sneak it under the rug. I was actually shocked that this happened. Glenn responded to me with an email saying, thank you for the information. Would I call him about it? And I did talk to him after. He has since called me a couple of times. We've spoken a couple of times on this issue, and he's quite surprised that an employee of his would go to the Oregon State Police about this rather than contact someone in ODOT, one of their supervisors, a manager, a district manager. She took it upon herself to go directly to OSP. He then told me that he had received a call from another commissioner. He said, I don't remember the guy's name, but I think it was Boyce, asking me about what happened and how it happened and Was he aware of that the law had been broken, that I had endangered people? And this is his words. And he said, I was rather surprised by that phone call. And I said, so was that Commissioner Courtboyce? And he said, yes, it was. And that was where our conversation basically, I said, well, if you're going to answer. He said at that point, I'm sorry I left that out. He said at that point he had not decided if he was even going to make an answer, that he felt as though what had happened was negligible and it really wasn't something that he felt was important. So that's where that stands. I was never endangering anyone's lives. I was never in blocking the road. Trucks were going in and out as I was there. I think 2 trucks went in and out while I was there. And I will stand by what I said and did. I will also say that during the fires 3 years ago, Commissioner Boyce was on those fires many times as a representative of Curry County. And as I recall Commissioner Boyce testifying too, he was asked to leave on a couple times, and he was offended that he was asked to leave by the Sheriff's Department, that he didn't belong, they felt he didn't belong there, and he was impeding with what was happening. He felt he should be there. So I don't know why this is any different than that. He felt as though he was supposed to be there during those fires to report to the public what was happening. All I did was took a drive up a hill to see some road work being done, and now I'm being accused of endangering the public and doing something horrible to a woman that, to be quite honest with you, I don't know of too many people, women included, that wouldn't have given this person with her tone with me exactly what they thought of her actions. So that's all I have on that. I will say there's something else that's come up since, and this was publicly testified to on Wednesday, about this letter from the Landing restaurant owner back to the county, describing, this is an invoice describing fees due, payable no later than March 18th for an annual permit for a restaurant. On the bottom of this invoice, it clearly states Commissioner Boyce is said to hold off on paying this. Please note my new mailing address. That's the note on the bottom of this. So when Commissioner Boyce was asked, he did testify that he had told that to several people, were his words, and he wasn't sure that the language was exactly clear, but as I recall, it was close enough. Since then, I've spoken to some people. There are some legal issues with this, and this is not only an ethical violation, but it is potentially against the law to do this. I won't ask our county council to comment on this at this point, but I will say that this has been brought already to the state, and we will be asking for a response from them. But these are the kind of things that, again, I've asked for time and time again, that a chair cannot do, a commissioner cannot do. We are not empowered to do these kind of things. And there are other things that have happened over time, and I'm not going to go through the litany of those, but as a commissioner, we cannot, what I call get out of our lane, we cannot overstep. Telling people that they don't have to pay their taxes or a permit fee is a clear violation. These are board orders. This contributes directly to the general fund of this county. And we cannot be doing these things. It's almost become a weekly thing here, and I don't know how much longer I can tolerate this. It's frustrating. I've heard that some are not, are feeling ill because of this, as am I. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning not thinking of my Lord. I'm thinking about Courtboyce and what's going to happen today. And it's a bad way to live my life. And we have to stop and just be commissioners, do our job, and listen to each other and the arguments, whether we agree or not, and make those decisions and let our county government run. We're not supposed to be telling the sheriff what road he should patrol today, or our code enforcement who he should or who he shouldn't write a citation to. We certainly should not be telling our citizens that they don't have to pay their bills right now. I'll take care of it. and I'm sorry I added that last part and I shouldn't have, but these are things that constantly come up that I, as a commissioner, can no longer tolerate, and that's why I asked this board to let I've spent 2 years as board chair, and if I had to be board chair again, I would, but I would ask that this board allow Commissioner Herzog to be the chair, to sit between us, and hopefully monitor a better meeting. And then again, also make sure that Commissioner Boyce stops doing these kind of things. We cannot have this, and I don't know how we can continue to support these kind of things as a group. And I know we all have our little groups and we all go to our little offices and we talk, but these kind of things have to stop. And again, there's more than one, and it's got to stop. And I guess for right now, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Pash. Just one comment on the restaurant fees. Didn't tell anybody they didn't have to pay their fees. And looking back, I don't think that was the best decision I could have made for the Rogue Landing gentleman, who is in tremendous. We think we don't sleep at night. He's trying to figure out how he's going to overcome $60,000. And there were a couple of others. One, I said, could you just pay half now if you don't have the money on a new open up? And this very nice lady said, yes, is there some way I can delay the other 4? And I said, I think, tell him I said I encourage you to consider that. And by the way, that was for the Panther Den. There's been some restaurants fighting to stay alive that have actually written a bad check, trying to figure out what the heck to do. It's $900. The board may recall that in December and then again in January, I said, can we please, board, consider some relaxed fees, maybe even waive the fees? I've got the agenda routing slip. Should I have accelerated that and got it done? I mean, we've been pretty busy, but I've had it, and I've communicated to the board. Would you consider down the road, these people are desperate need of help. I wish and encourage them to call all 3 commissioners. And it's not just the restaurants, but as you know, it's primarily the restaurants. So I'm fighting to help any way I can, and I continue to fight. And I have spent a lot of time with the gentleman on the Rogue Landing, and he has got no help, and it's heartbreaking. And that's why I'm here, is to serve those people and figure out a way to help. You know, if I did something illegal, I will take the consequences. You know, it's tough times for everybody, and I'm going to keep representing those people and helping them any way I can. I have reported to the board, and I emphasize again, the 2 times I've brought it up, and either we ran out of time. I think one time we ran out of time, and one time there didn't seem to be enough interest. Don't quote me on that, but we could go back and review the meetings. So I was put here to do a job, and yeah, I take that pretty seriously, and I have, my record will show that I do everything I can to properly bring things before the board. You know, we've a lot of times, sometimes we only meet every 3 weeks, and so it's pretty hard to conduct business and help people, in particular, this stressful time we are right now. And it's always wait. It's always you're out of your lane. And my heart, your heart is to serve. And that's what we do. And that's why we're here. And that's why we wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning saying, how can I make a difference? How can I help these people? Look what's happening to our kids. Anyway, excuse me. Go ahead, Commissioner.
No, if you're done. But it is a good reminder that what Chris brought up is that as a commissioner, we cannot make a decision like that. So this reminder is that we have to go before the other 2 commissioners, whether it's through county council, but we cannot make a decision that you don't have to pay your. And I go back to that decision we made of letting hiring a person to be the camp host. I could not make that. I couldn't say, I'm going to give you a second chance. I couldn't do it on my own. But the 3 of us did, and it's working out so far. So I understand your heart, but you cannot make promises that you can't keep. That's the kicker. I can't, Chris can't, you can't. And I think what I heard from Cherie is that as a commission, we don't do a late fee. We've waived those, which, you know, like a lot of businesses have, that Coos Curry Electric did at the beginning of that stuff. So, but you know, please, we can't make a decision. One person can't make a decision. That's the bottom line.
Well, didn't make any promises, but I did communicate that I was working with the board 2 different occasions in a 6-week period to try and reduce the fees or even waive for 1 year the fees. Do you both recall that, correct?
I recall a couple of conversations about it, but there was never a board order or vote on it, no.
Okay, so if they don't have the money and they're trying to figure out everything they have to do, I mean, it's nationwide. They're having trouble finding employees. They're having trouble keeping their doors open. I don't know how else I can say it except maybe one of you two could bring that as an agenda item and get it done for those people. And maybe we'll have agreement on it. Maybe it'll be a full year waiver. Maybe it will be a reduced fee.
Case by
so
case,
what I communicated to those people was delay if you need to. I'll go to bat for you. I'll figure out what I can take to the board and how we can hopefully help you. No promises, Commissioners. Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Pash.
On that, business is business, and I mean, I've lost businesses because I couldn't pay my bills, and that's you know what, it's unfortunate. We're doing all we can through the state. When we got some of the funding we did, we had, you know, right away economic development got everyone to sign up to get as much funding and help as they could, but unfortunately, business is business, and the general fund of this county still has to pay its bills. And because someone can't pay their bills, do I feel bad for them? Yeah, I do. But business is business, and that's part of the rules that we sign up for when we sign that business license.
We are losing people by no fault of their own.
Absolutely, I agree.
It's not bad management.
I didn't say it was, sir. I'm just saying the things that happen in business happen.
Excuse me. Your philosophy would be correct if the environment that they have to work in was steady and normal. It's not. And so I'm asking this board right now, will you consider a full year waiver of fees?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I personally like that, you know, what you told that, or, no, can you pay half? Can you, because I know it's terribly tough, but it's open, it's closed, so when they're open, you know, quick story, when we were first married, I got laid off, I was working for South Coast, I went to the bank, we bought a house, I went to the bank, it was Curry County, see you, bud, it was not Rogue Federal Credit Union, but yeah, it was. Chetco Federal Credit Union.
That's going back.
And I went to the Pat Widmer. She was running it, and I said, Pat, I can't make my house payment. Can you make interest payments? I can make interest payments. Roger Lyles and Gary Holman and we cut firewood all winter long, and I made interest payments. We can't just completely say no, but we can. You know, there's a plan. We can make a plan, but we have to do it together. And we can't promise somebody that they don't have to they pay their bill for a year, because there is a way, and and I don't think anybody wants to, because if you waive it for a year, that means next year you got $1,800 plus.
No, waive to me.
Waive it forever.
Yes, for 1 year. I'm not even making that recommendation. I'm throwing that out there for discussion. I'd like the board to take action.
I'd have to see.
I think it has merit.
Yeah, I might ask our assessor if he'd waive my taxes for a couple of years, because I'm losing money being a commissioner every year. Maybe I can get my taxes assessment waived. And that's the kind of things we're talking about here. And business is business. You bought a business knowing the fees. Unfortunately, it's a hard time right now, but business is business. It's like you bought a property knowing the taxes. because you've had hard times and hardships doesn't mean you don't pay your taxes. Your taxes still come due. I can't explain to Mr. Wong or one of the other restaurants here in town, well, this person was allowed to pay, not to pay their taxes, but you still owe yours. Government has, unfortunately, that's what we signed up for, government has to draw a line. And the hardships of business in this environment are going to bring this country to its knees. It will, because I don't care what it says, small business in this country will not recover for decades. But the issue is that's where we are, and we have to, business is business, for lack of a better word. Business is business.
I'll bring it before the board on the 28th, commissioners, and I'll have two different options for the board to consider, unless somebody else wants to take that lead. I'm not going to delay it any longer. I wish we'd have done it before now, and I really thought we would have it done before now. If we could get
so I would like
approval.
I'd like to see, that number, and I think you just heard me. I think there's options. I don't know about waiving for a year. I know it's hardship, but I like the option of paying something when you are open.
One time I talked about a 40% discount. Just throw that figure out there to see if the board might agree, and I didn't get a lot of follow-up on that.
Well, we got to get with
for 1 year
with somebody with finance, and that would be my recommendation.
We can help them, or tough deal, tough duty. Okay, what else we got? We lost our director of operations. You didn't have anything else? Council Pope? Excuse me. No? Okay. No further action. This board is adjourned.
I love you.